gas tank on my way here. I figured the pipeline out, new excuse to raise gas prices.
Yeah, we do. No. I'm sure there's people looking at that as we speak.
Met some of you guys today I haven't met before.
There's new ones all the time.
These are old ones going, what am I
Oh,
doing over
you
here?
probably, you talked to Lamb.
Yeah,
Yeah, he stayed with him, Calhoun.
yeah, and I can't think of the guy from White Pigeon.
Oh, Hoffmeister.
Heismeister, yeah.
Yeah, he pretty much stays over that way too. He's worked a little bit over here in Branch, but
Yeah.
not often.
I've seen his name on a log, I just
Yeah.
never had a face to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a couple of the old dogs right there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We're waiting to get new information as well as what we do know right now.
Oh, yeah. Somebody got it.
Candy, you think the township could afford some?
No. They take it out of my salary.
Only one day a month.
Yeah, then you never know what day that is.
Got a lot of good reaction to that sex story.
Yeah, I was gonna look that up and see if you'd put that out. Usually Vicky keeps me on my secretary, kind of shoots something in there.
Ran here Saturday, and I think it ran this weekend too, in Battle Creek. And I'm not sure when they did it.
Well, Emily, we're waiting to get new updates from everybody's, but here's what we do know so far. First of all, the
I got it on tape.
BP gas line near Bell Road between Girard and Vinson Lake Roads broke at 9:30 last night.
My memory
Shut
isn't
down
that
for
good
about
anymore,
40
that's why I
minutes.
put it
The
in
leak
the
happened between happened across from the Potawatomi recreational area, which is closed for the season and had no campers around at the time. County leaders say the gas line does not border the area. 6 homes nearby were evacuated as of this morning, according to the state police, with troopers blocking off the road to all traffic. Now, while the leak is mostly contained, investigators have yet to figure out what caused it to discharge more than 8,000 gallons of gasoline, equivalent to 1 tanker's worth.
Great reviews on it.
And gasoline is the only contaminant of concern here, where a couple of homeowners
That's
noticed
like
it when they stepped
Facebook,
outside.
the only people that really complain.
We think it's helpful all the way around. It's helpful to the community, it's helpful to us as a department.
Rhino crews continue to recover stolen gasoline as well as remove any contaminated soil and test both soil.
That's impressive.
All right, we'll get started. BP will meet here just shortly. They're just outside. So our intent today is to give you an update. We sent out a press release earlier today that was distributed at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to talk some about that press release and just give you a few more facts or information that has changed since 1 o'clock. So I'm Bud Norman, the Emergency Management PIO Administrator Controller for Branch County. To my left is Tim Miner, who's the Emergency Management Coordinator for the county, and Eric Pohl, who's with the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and then Lieutenant Schrader, who's with the Michigan State Police. Also helping us with this is our county sheriff, who you see just to the back here, and then Cesar Rodriguez, who's with BP, and he's just outside, and he'll be in here shortly. So I'm going to give you, again, the press release that we sent out today at 1 o'clock and a few facts that were added to that. After we do that, we'll open up for questions if you have any questions, and we'll do our best between us all to answer any questions that you might have. There was a 10-inch BP pipeline, and that runs from Whiting, Indiana, to River Rouge, which is near Detroit. That's Michigan. They experienced a release of gasoline on October the 17th, 2023. So alarms were set off, and those alarms were set off at 9:30 or about 9:30 last night on October the 17th. 3 minutes later at 9:33, they had the line shut down, and that's what they could shut down remotely. What they couldn't shut down, they deployed, and they deployed to the area to shut down a couple more manual valves. After those valves were shut down, then they subsequently moved to the site location, which is located just across from 1117 Union City Road, Bell Road in Union City. The BP crews were deployed, as I stated. Who also deployed was the United States Environmental Protection Agency with Eric to my left. The Michigan Department of Environmental, Great Lakes, and Energy, who they're currently out on the site with several personnel. The Michigan State Police, which I introduced Lieutenant Schrader earlier, and we have Lieutenant Collins is in the room also with the Michigan State Police. The County Sheriff's Department, and Emergency Management. And so all of those that I've mentioned, they're all in the room right now with the exception of Eagle. And then BP will be in shortly. And then we have fire response assets that were there this morning for our morning meeting, and they are on call. So as I stated before, BP, this is Cesar Rodriguez, and so he's the BP Public Information Officer. Joined us from Chicago, correct?
Pleasure to be here, bud. Pleasure to be here. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah. Well, the delay was because he obeyed the rules coming up. He's very strict in following the,
Respecting
But
speed limit, as always.
right. But if you would have warned me, I could have notified the state police and county sheriff's department, and we could give you a break. So, approximately 8,400 gallons are estimated to have been discharged. Operations include the recovery of spilled gasoline and removal of contaminated soil. And parties are on the site, and they're on the site doing air and water monitoring, air and water quality. There's no additional product that was that is known to be discharged or flowing from the pipeline and causes any environmental damage or threats. Now we have received a lot of calls from the media, and we also received a lot of calls from interested parties, and those include U.S. Congressman Walberg's office. It includes our state senator Jonathan Lindsay, our state representative Andrew Fink. We've kept the Board of Commissioners chair Tim Stoll updated. We've also had several inquiries and kept John Houts, who's the commissioner to Girard Township, and kept him updated. And Candy Cox. Candy Cox was, she's the township supervisor. She was at our meeting this morning with us for part of the day at the site location. So we've done our best to respond as quickly as possible and to control and mitigate the damage on the site. So now I'll take any questions you have, or we will take questions that you may have.
Can you talk about how many homes were evacuated and the importance of getting those homes evacuated in an instance like this?
So they were, the answer is six, but the number of homes.
Oh, number of
first
homes.
is,
Well, depending on the timing, because there were some areas that shifted and changed, so it was a very, small evacuation that didn't, they've all been released back. So, there's not people staying in hotels or things like that. So it was very small, but it was kind of targeted towards where the need was based on where we potentially could have issues based on some plume modeling. So we kind of just overshot it and said, hey, this could be it because we don't know yet. And we were able to retract it and say, hey, okay, this is a better scenario. So,
Any idea as to what caused the leak in the first place?
No, we're still working on.
That's under investigation as of now. No details to share, but we'll definitely get that to you as soon as we get them.
Is there a reason to suspect foul play as to how this leak happened in the first place as well?
As of now, again, this incident's still under investigation, and I'll follow up with you with any type of answer to that question.
How much longer will it take to clean it up?
As of now, it's still undetermined. Our crews have been there since late last night. They've been working hard, working with our state and local officials just to make sure. Do you want me to get closer? Just to make sure that we are collaborating with our state and local officials, individuals like Bud, to make sure that this incident is mediated and make sure that it doesn't occur again.
You said there were crews out there testing the water and the air levels. Have those results come through yet or no?
Can you repeat your question? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You guys said there were crews out there testing air levels and water levels. Have there been any results that have come up?
As of now, no odor and no sheen, and we've had aerial drones in the area just to make sure that there are no other impacted areas.
How deep was this pipeline and how old is it?
Good question. I'll have to follow up on the depth of that pipeline.
But it was underground.
Yes, it was subterranean. Yes.
How about age? We had a local telling us that they saw it put in when they were younger and they had to have been in their 60s, 70s.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to follow up with that. Sorry.
Can you talk about the alarm signal? So how does that work? How are you alerted when something like this bursts? I guess walk us through that system and how you were able to get it shut off within 3 minutes.
So fortunately, we got the alarm at 9:30. Our crews mobilized immediately. I was just informed that they worked immediately to make sure that type of signal situation was controlled, and by 9:33, it was contained.
Tim, you mentioned that the people who were evacuated are back home. When were they given the all clear?
Depending on where they were at, it varied again because of the scope and if you're familiar with the area, there's not a lot of houses, so they were kind of speckled around. So it varied, and some of it was they were later getting back in because of some communication barriers with actually talking to them because they might be sleeping or so everybody's back in. It's not open to public motoring yet due to safety concerns for their crews working in the cleanup area at this point.
So the latest would be ballpark time for the latest homeowner to be allowed back in?
I'm going to say it was like 1 o'clock? 2 o'clock. It was lunchtime. I lost time sometime last night. I'm not sure what.
Was there anybody in the campgrounds?
There was, but no one camping.
Okay.
Campground is closed.
As far as the gas, it's not natural gas, it's petroleum in this gas line.
I was informed that it was gas. It's gasoline. Was gasoline? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you said no contamination in the soil or the water, or as far as the results that came back.
Correct. Yes. And as of now, we've mobilized heavy equipment to the area to make sure that we remove any type of soil that has been contaminated.
Is there, from any of you guys, has there been, from the EPA or from Eagle, if there's anybody here, has there been any results as far as contamination into the water supply or into any utility whatsoever?
With the assistance of the Michigan State Police, we did overflights of the surface waters this morning, and we didn't see any kind of sheen or petroleum product in the surface waters, the rivers, the ponds, and the lakes and the streams. There was some evidence of the gasoline spilling into that farm field and staining the soil, so we expect there to be some residual contamination there that's to be still investigated in terms of the quantity. And we are aware that there are some private drinking water wells in the nearby area, and there's a plan being developed and implemented to monitor those drinking water wells and ensure that those residents have safe, clean drinking water available to them. In the meantime, I believe BP is providing bottled water as out of an abundance of caution to one residence that has the closest drinking water well to the spill location.
Is it just one well, or how many in total are affected by that?
My understanding is there's 3 or possibly 4 wells that are in close proximity. Again, we're still assessing, and we want to make sure that we are capturing all of the wells that may potentially be impacted. My understanding is that BP is also having environmental consultants brought in that will do some of that more advanced testing and analysis of the result of this release.
Was this on the west side of the road, and how far off Bell Road?
But do you have that exact location?
It was on the west side of the road, about 90 yards from the road center line.
Was it visible when the BP crews got there? Were they able to see it in the soil?
Yes. Well, yes, it was visible. Yes.
Liquid visible or just dark?
Well, when it was flowing, it was visible, is how I could best put it. Beyond that, everyone was at safe standoff distances because of the flammability of it, and we have to, be cautious about vehicles and spark. So.
How far was it from the wetlands in that area along Hog Creek?
Wetlands, it's a swampy area to begin with, so I'm not sure exactly of the delineation. Within hundreds of feet, I think, is a fair estimate, and BP, along with oversight from Eagle and US EPA, will be, ensuring that the wetlands are protected.
Had the field been harvested?
I'm not aware of what was on the field prior, so I don't know if it was harvested or not.
Okay.
So
just an open field, or was it corn, beans?
there was nothing in it growing.
No soybeans,
nothing.
Wouldn't be able to tell.
So what does the remediation look like? Is that just scooping up dirt and replacing it, or is this field still going to be usable next growing season?
That's correct. As of now, as I mentioned before, our heavy machinery has been brought to the area to make sure that we bring out that soil, remove that soil that has been contaminated.
How much are you going to have to remove? Any idea?
No idea as of now.
I'm sorry.
And then
And
going
are you
back-
expecting the field to still be farmable next year?
I would have to follow up with you on that.
And then going back to the pipelines, how often do you guys check those to make sure they're running safely?
You know what? That is a great question. This specifics. Fortunately, we were aware that this incident occurred thanks to the sensors in place. And fortunately, that gives our teams the ability to react immediately. As I mentioned, at 9:30 we received the alert, and by 9:33 our crews were in the area making sure that this was not spreading.
How long before you're able to replace the broken part and have the line operational again?
No time frame as of yet.
How will this impact the gas supply in Detroit area?
As of now, no immediate impacts, but we will. Our crews are working around the clock to make sure that there is no abrupt change to that type of supply.
On any given week, month, year, how many gallons does this particular gas line supply to the Detroit plant?
I'll give you the specifics on the side. Yeah, connect with the technician.
Are you aware of the last time that this pipeline was inspected, either internally or externally?
As of now, no.
For the county and state officials, have there been any homeowners, residents, people who frequent in that particular area? Even though the timeline has been short, the window's been short, have there been any, like any health conditions that they had, even though they were evacuated and they could have come into contact? Any possibility?
I don't think we have any health reported.
And I think the misnomer, and it really does, understanding what this is it vaporizes. So once it dissipates, it's not strong. So in the beginning, yes, when it was coming out of the ground, it's like if you spilled gas in your garage and close the door, you're going to really smell it. But when you open the door, it dissipates. So putting it that way, we have a very big garage door open right now. So that's helping our situation immensely.
Obviously, since you're pumping out of the line, could you tell what kind of break it was? Was it a crack in the line, severing the line, hole in the line?
As of now, I mentioned it's still under investigation.
What steps are you guys taking to make sure that nothing like this happens again?
Well, again, we continue to work closely with our state and local officials, our environment partners, just to make sure that this is avoided in the future. And for BP, safety is our priority, and that is something that we do on a daily basis.
If the cause is under any category of foul play, how would those responsible be subjected to criminal charges, either by the county or by the state, in terms of law enforcement agencies?
Yeah, so if it's determined there was some type of foul play or, some type of event to sabotage line, obviously we work with our local county prosecutor, and there could be a number of different charges that would be appropriate, right? Some of it going up to domestic terrorism, some of it could be as simple as malicious destruction of private property, right, because it's a private property line. A lot of that would be determined once the investigation is completed, an inspection by BP, and they're relaying the information back to us, and then we determine from there if there's a criminal investigation that needs to take place.
When will we get another briefing from, especially
From
BP, for the what could have possibly caused it, the other metrics from this?
Sure. Well, thank you for the question. We're working around the clock. We're on site making sure that we can provide the details and the information to keep our community informed, our journalists informed, just to make sure that everyone understands what exactly happened. So appreciate that.
Is there any public safety or environmental threat right now, and is there any cause for concern down the road, even though the efforts are with best intentions trying to clean this up and prevent any further damage from going on? Any possible threat?
I think as we continue recovery through this incident, we're just going to continue to make the assessments, and our number one priority from the federal EPA is to ensure that the environment is protected and human health is protected. So as we move forward with BP and our other state and local partners, we're going to keep that in the forefront.
So no threat?
As far as we have seen right now, again, reiterating, we haven't seen any impact to surface water. There was some contamination to the farm field and the soil, and there's the potential that there's the nearby drinking water wells. So, but again, those are at the front of our thoughts, and we're going to make sure that those are protected, and we're going to make sure that that the homeowners and residents are fully informed of what that means.
Where are the soils that are being removed being taken to dispose of?
As of now, no details on that. I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, thank you again.
Thanks so much.